All right, I want to get these Cheney sound bites in your ear before we take the break. This son of a bitch has really gone over the top. I mean, he has. He's making these predictions now about a nuclear explosion somewhere in the United States. And George in Seattle writes, Mike, you may remember the original story said there were 6 nuclear-armed cruise missiles that went on the wayward trip to Louisiana. Then the story changed to only 5 missiles. Someone with the power to do it clandestinely ordered that the missiles be sent from Minot, North Dakota to Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana, which is the major supply transfer point for the Mideast effort. But the whole deal got caught. And then one missile goes missing, and then shortly after that there is totally unexplained total radar blackout of the entire southeast U.S., providing cover to move the missing missile. Following the missile transfer incident, several members of the plane's crew die of mysterious circumstances, and now the missile crew commander was found dead. Am I paranoid? Or is it possible that Dick Cheney has himself a nuke stashed away somewhere and is getting ready to use it? What do you suppose a nuclear detonation, say in the Middle East or here at home, would do to Obama's foreign and domestic policy plans? Yeah, and Cheney is capable of doing that. The only difference between Cheney and a mass murderer is opportunity, and Cheney has proved that he's fully capable of committing mass murder. In an interview at Politico.com, here's Cheney. He just can't stop fear-mongering, even when he's no longer in Washington. But again, maybe he knows something about those loose nukes. Here he is warning us Americans. And, this filthy bastard won't be happy until he sees that mushroom cloud. He's been waiting for it for decades, and maybe centuries.
The biggest threat has been, since before 9/11, there has been that you get a 9/11 type event where the terrorists are armed with something much more dangerous than an airline ticket and a box cutter. They're equipped with a nuclear weapon or a biological agent of some kind. That's the ultimate threat, and it hasn't happened yet, obviously. But if I were to sort of categorize worries or concerns that you have when you deal in this area, the potential ability of an Al-Qaeda organization or an Al-Qaeda group to get their hands on that kind of weapon and deploy it in the middle of one of our own cities. That's the ultimate.
That's what this son of a bitch has planned. You know it, and I know it. Let's get to intervention. Why don't we stop him? Cheney continues to terrorize America from beyond D.C. He's in the suburbs of D.C. now about the coming nuclear attacks. And of course, if Obama reverses the Bush crime family torture policies and perpetual war state against the Muslims, well, then, oh my God, there's going to be a nuclear explosion here. See, the only way to keep Americans safe is to continue bombing, killing, and torturing Muslims.
I think there's a high probability of such an attempt. Whether or not they can pull it off depends whether or not we keep in place policies that have allowed us to defeat all further attempts since 9/11 to launch mass casualty attacks against the United States. I think there are people out there today who would love nothing better than to launch such an attack.
Like you.
And will work hard to try to pull it off.
Like you.
Whether or not they can pull it off depends in part upon us and what kind of policies we put in place and whether or not we're prepared to do what we need to do in order to be able to defeat it.
Yeah, I think we ought to do what we need to do to defeat it, and I think that would start by investigating your ass, bringing you to trial for war crimes, locking you up for the rest of your natural miserable life and your supernatural miserable life, stick you back in your box of dirt and bury you someplace until 500 years from now some hapless person unlocks your crypt and you spring out again to wreak havoc 5 centuries from now. But in the meantime, you demon, can you believe this son of a bitch? It's unprecedented. I'm going to share with you the more from Politico.com. That's enough of the sound because the sound quality for us was kind of poor. But this guy is attacking the Obama administration. Can you remember the Clinton administration attacking Bush and Cheney? No, you can't. And why is that? Because it didn't happen. These pigs need to be locked up. They really do. They need to be brought to trial first. They need to be investigated, charged with war crimes, charged with treason, charged with murder for sending 4,000 Americans to their deaths. And they need to be given their constitutional rights that they would deny other terrorists, put on trial. They will be convicted and locked up. Especially Cheney. What a beast.